What's with all this backbiting? And am I wrong in saying to Democrats, keep your eyes on the ball for the bigger war that's being waged right now?
You're absolutely not wrong to tell Democrats to go vote and to focus on building a movement. First of all, we need to talk about some things that are going well. 372,000 jobs created in June. Prices are starting to fall. And then let's get our agenda done. You know, the Innovation Act, which is going to build semiconductors here, Mitch McConnell is blocking it. Let's get that passed. Let's get compromised and get clean energy tax credits, solar manufacturing tax credits. Instead of taking shots at the president, how about we just get the agenda done and unite?
And to that point, Rev, you know, this quote from Jennifer Palmieri struck me as right on the money. This was from a Washington Post story where she said, "We are in such a bigger fight than what the president of the United States can deliver. And if you're thinking that it can be solved by a president taking any action in the course of the 2 weeks after the decision, the Roe decision, then you're not appreciating what a big fight it is and what a precarious moment it is." Would love your thoughts on that.
I think that she is very right about what she's saying, but I think that Congressman Khan is right. I think when you look at the fact that just this week, we don't have to go back further than that, where the predictions were that we'd have lower job numbers than we did. And then you had 372,000 jobs that was there. The fact that this president was able to come in after Trump and what Trump had done to the economy, the fact that he was able to deal with COVID-19 after we had a president that was telling people to take bleach, I think that we certainly should hold Joe Biden accountable, and many of us have. But there's a difference in accountability and tamping down the enthusiasm of the voters that you need to preserve what we need to preserve. We are in the middle of this whole country shifting, based on the Supreme Court, back to a states' rights model. Let's remember, Jonathan, they ruled let the states decide women's rights. Next will be let the states decide voting rights, and then black rights. I mean, states' rights is how we ended up in slavery. And we ended up doing Juneteenth a couple of weeks ago, where Texas never freed the slaves until the Union Army came in and told the slaves they were free and enforced it. We are going to a states' rights model, which has always been the right wing's model because they could do what they want to do. So not only has Joe Biden and them done more than the messaging has gotten out, look at what we're up against. If they get the White House and the Senate and the Congress and have the Supreme Court, we'll be going state by state again, trying to find out what hotel allows certain of us to check in. That's and that's not hyperbole. My mother from the South grew up saying we had to choose what states we could stop and get food on the road. States' rights will do that, and this Roe versus Wade decision was a states' rights decision. That's exactly where they want to go. And the only thing standing in the way of that is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
And you know, Rev, I laughed at your reference to, potentially trying to choose which states where we can, get a hotel or get something to eat, because it's just a reminder to people that our history isn't exactly history. It is within the lived memory of millions of Americans. And Congressman Connor, we're getting to a point where I think Rev is right. During the break, I said to you that even though you're in your third term, just your third term in Congress, that you're becoming a statesman within the party because you're from the Bernie wing of the party. But you say, hey, let's support the president. How do you get that message across to the folks in the Bernie wing of the party, the progressive wing of the party, who, according to my Twitter feed, brook no dissent? Like they come for me.
They'll come for me too.
I'm going to look right now to see if folks are tearing me to pieces. But how can we unify Democrats so it doesn't, to Rev's point, dampen voter turnout in November among Democrats?
Well, the Reverend's right about the stakes: voting rights, civil rights, women's rights. Here's what I don't understand. Do you ever hear the Republicans 4 months before a midterm election criticizing their own Republican president? They don't criticize a former Republican president who committed insurrection. They still have people out there defending him. Now, I get called, they say, oh, Ro, don't pander to the administration, don't appease the administration anytime I support Joe Biden. People know I have disagreements with the president.
Right.
But here's what I believe. The party needs to be disciplined. He's our leader. He's the president. You don't get anywhere attacking him or taking pot shots. Let's figure out how to get the agenda through in Congress, compromise, and let's unify, because what's at stake? That's not rocket science.
And Rev, last question to you. We got 90 seconds left. What do you say to the Democratic Party base, African Americans in particular, who say, we already voted and you guys didn't do anything on voting rights, criminal justice reform. You let abortion rights get overturned by the Supreme Court. What's the message to them to get them to still go vote in November to try to change things around?
The message is that we will lose all of it if we do not have this Congress, this Senate, that will deliver for us on the things that they are complaining about. The reason we didn't get voting rights is we only have a 50-50 Senate. The reason we didn't get George Floyd police reform, because we have a 50-50 Senate. If we go in and vote more, we can turn that around. And what those that were running around saying there's no difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, what's the difference between Trump and Biden? Those are the people that in many ways cost us not having the majority that we needed to do. So I deal with them directly on what they said. Yeah, we didn't get it because enough of us didn't vote in enough states where we only tied the Senate. We didn't win. Now we need to come back again and win this time.